Alex Kelly stared at the blue-tinted letter in his hands, reading it for the 5th time. The paper wasn't really paper at all, but some kind of thin, flexible material that seemed to glow from within. The words on it were printed in perfect English, though Alex knew they had been translated from another language entirely. Dr. Alexander Kelly, the letter began, the Galactic Academy of Sciences extends a formal invitation for you to join our institution as the first human representative. Your work on theoretical quantum mechanics has caught our attention. Transport will arrive in 3 days. Alex sat back in his worn office chair and looked around at his small, cramped office at Lakeside University. The bookshelves were stuffed with physics textbooks and journals. Papers covered most available surfaces. A half-empty coffee mug sat next to his computer, now cold. He ran a hand through his dark hair and tried to make sense of it all. The Galactic Academy of Sciences. Everyone on Earth knew aliens existed. That had been established 7 years ago when the first contact happened. But since then, interactions had been limited to government officials and a select few scientists, certainly not struggling physicists from small Midwestern universities. A knock on his door pulled Alex from his thoughts. "Come in," he called. Rikio. Door opened to reveal Dr. Susan Wright, the head of the physics department. She was a tall woman with gray-streaked brown hair and kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. "Alex, did you get one too?" she asked, holding up a blue-tinted letter identical to his. "Yes," Alex said, standing up. "I don't understand. Why me?" Susan shook her head. "I didn't get invited. I got a notice that you did." She walked over and dropped into the chair across from his desk. "This is unprecedented. No human has ever been invited to study at the Academy." "Maybe it's a mistake," Alex suggested. "Galactic Academy doesn't make mistakes like that," Susan said firmly. "They've been watching you, apparently." Alex felt a chill run down his spine. "But my work is theoretical. Most of it hasn't even been published yet." "Well, they must have ways of knowing things," Susan said. She leaned forward, eyes bright with excitement. "Alex, do you realize what this means? This is the opportunity of a lifetime, of many lifetimes." Before Alex could respond, his phone rang. The caller ID showed it was Dean Peterson. News traveled fast. The next 3 days passed in a blur. The university erupted with excitement. Some professors congratulated Alex sincerely. Others questioned whether the invitation was legitimate. A few openly wondered why they hadn't been chosen instead. News reporters camped outside Alex's small apartment. Government officials arrived to brief him on protocols for representing humanity. Alex barely slept, spending his nights reading everything available about the Galactic Academy, which wasn't much. The aliens had shared very little about their advanced institutions. All humans knew was that the Academy was the most prestigious scientific organization in known space, where brilliant minds from hundreds of different species collaborated on the universe's biggest problems. On the morning of the 3rd day, Alex stood in an empty field outside town, surrounded by university officials, government representatives, and a small group of friends. He carried only one suitcase. He'd been told everything else would be provided. "Are you nervous?" asked Carol Garcia, his research assistant. "Terrified," Alex admitted. "You'll be amazing," Carol said, giving his arm a squeeze. "Just remember to write down everything. I want detailed notes when you get back." Alex smiled weakly. If he got back. Though no one had said it outright, the invitation hadn't specified how long he would be gone or if return transport would be provided. A low humming filled the air. Everyone looked up as a dark shape appeared in the sky, growing larger by the second. The alien ship was unlike anything humans had designed. It had no visible engines, wings, or propulsion systems. It was simply an oval of deep purplish-black material that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The ship descended silently until it hovered about 20 feet above the ground. A circle of light appeared on its underside, then extended, downward like a solid beam. Within this column of light, 2 figures descended slowly. They were tall and slender, with skin that shimmered between blue and green, depending on how the light hit it. Their faces were almost human-like, except for large, multifaceted eyes and small breathing slits where a nose would be. They wore simple white garments that seemed to flow around them like water. "Greetings," the taller alien said in perfect, unaccented English. "I am Navigator L, and this is Assistant Navigator Pell. We are here to transport Dr. Alexander Kelly to the Galactic Academy of Sciences." Dean Peterson stepped forward. "As representatives of Lakeside University, we are honored by your selection of Dr. Kelly. We trust you will ensure his safe journey and return." The alien tilted its head slightly. "The journey will be safe. The Academy has never lost a transport." Alex noticed they hadn't mentioned anything about returning. After brief goodbyes, Alex stepped into the light beam. To his surprise, it felt solid beneath his feet. The aliens nodded at him, and slowly they ascended together into the ship. The interior was larger than Alex had expected, with curved walls that glowed with soft light. There were no sharp angles anywhere. Everything flowed in gentle curves. "This way, please," Navigator L said, leading Alex through a doorway that appeared in what had seemed like a solid wall. They entered what was clearly a control room, though unlike any Alex had seen. There were no screens or buttons, just a central platform where floating symbols hovered in the air. "Please secure yourself," Assistant Navigator Pell said, indicating a contoured seat that emerged from the floor. Alex sat down, and the seat adjusted to his body shape. A field of energy wrapped around him like a gentle embrace. "The journey will take approximately 17 standard hours," Navigator L explained. "You may experience some discomfort as we transition to faster-than-light travel. This is normal for species new to space travel." "Will I be able to see outside?" Alex asked. The aliens exchanged a look that Alex couldn't interpret. "It would not be advisable during transit," Navigator Pell said. "But before we depart, we can show you your world from orbit if you wish." "Yes, please," Alex said. The wall in front of him became transparent, revealing the curve of Earth below. Alex gasped at the sight of his home planet, the swirls of white, clouds, the deep blue oceans, the brown and green landmasses. It was both familiar and strange, seen from this new perspective. "It is quite beautiful," Navigator L commented. "Each world has its unique features, but there is something particularly striking about yours." As Earth receded and the stars came into view, Alex felt the enormity of what was happening wash over him. He was leaving his planet, his species, everything familiar, to journey to an institution where he would be the only human among countless alien intelligences. "The Academy awaits you, Dr. Kelly," Navigator L said. "Prepare yourself for transition." A subtle vibration ran through the ship. The stars outside began to stretch into lines of light. Alex Kelly, the first human invited to the Galactic Academy of Sciences, took a deep breath and stepped into the unknown. Alex woke up as the ship slowed down. The feeling of moving through space changed. The gentle hum that had filled the ship for hours became quieter. Navigator L approached Alex's seat. "We are arriving at the Academy, Dr. Kelly. Please prepare yourself." Alex nodded and straightened his clothes. His stomach felt tight with nerves. The wall in front of him became clear again, and he gasped at what he saw. The Academy wasn't a planet or a moon as he had expected. It was a massive space station, larger than anything humans had ever built. It looked like a giant wheel with spokes connecting to a central hub. The entire structure glowed with soft blue and white lights. Smaller ships moved around it like bees around a hive. "It's enormous," Alex said. "The Academy houses over 50,000 scientists and students from 800 different species," Navigator Pell explained. "The station rotates to create gravity in the outer ring where most living and working spaces are located." Their ship slowed as it approached one of the docking areas. Alex felt a gentle bump as they connected to the station. "We have arrived," Navigator L announced. "A guide will meet you. Good fortune in your studies, Dr. Kelly." Alex grabbed his suitcase and followed the aliens to the exit. A door appeared in the wall, opening to reveal a short walkway that connected to the station. Alex took a deep breath and stepped through. The air inside the station smelled different, clean but with a hint of something unfamiliar. A small alien waited at the end of the walkway, It had 4 arms and skin that looked like polished copper. Its head was round with 3 large eyes arranged in a triangle. "Welcome to the Galactic Academy of Sciences, Dr. Alexander Kelly," the alien said in a musical voice. "I am Dr. Zixel, assigned to be your mentor during your time here." "Thank you," Alex said, trying not to stare. "It's an honor to meet you. Please follow me. I will show you to your quarters and then give you a tour of the facilities." They walked through wide hallways filled with aliens of all shapes and sizes. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange that Alex couldn't even guess how they thought or communicated. Many turned to look at him as he passed. Alex heard whispers and clicks that he knew were comments about him. "You are the first human to attend the academy," Dr. Zixel said. "Many are curious about you." "I'm curious about them too," Alex replied, watching as a floating cloud of what looked like glowing gas drifted past. They reached a door that slid open to reveal a simple room. It had a bed, a desk, and what looked like a bathroom area behind another door. One wall was a window that looked out into space. "These will be your quarters," Dr. Zixel said. "The environment has been adjusted to suit human biology. The interface can be controlled by voice or touch and will respond to English." Alex put his suitcase down and looked around. "Thank you. It's very nice. Rest for a moment. I will return in 1 hour to show you the academy. Tomorrow you will be introduced to the council and begin your orientation." After Dr. Zixel left, Alex sat on the bed and looked out the window at the stars. He couldn't believe he was really here. He thought about Earth so far away now. Would they be proud of him back home? Or would he fail and embarrass his entire species? An hour later, Dr. Zixel returned as promised. They walked through the academy while the alien explained how things worked. "The outer ring contains living quarters, dining halls, and recreational spaces," Dr. Zixel said. "The spokeshouse, laboratories, and classrooms. The central hub is for administration and houses the Grand Library and the council chambers." They entered a large open area where dozens of aliens gathered around tables. Some were eating, others were talking, and a few were working on devices Alex didn't recognize. "This is the main dining hall for this section," Dr. Zixel explained. "Food is prepared to match the biology of each species." As they walked through, Alex noticed many aliens staring at him. Some looked curious, others seemed less friendly. One alien in particular, tall with gray skin and eyes on stalks, glared at Alex with clear dislike. "Don't worry about Professor Kelb," Dr. Zixel said quietly. "He believes humans are too primitive to benefit from academy knowledge." Alex frowned. "We have to start somewhere. Every species was primitive once." "A wise observation," Dr. Zixel said. "Unfortunately, not everyone shares your perspective." They continued the tour, visiting laboratories where amazing research was happening. Alex saw aliens manipulating energy fields with their minds, creating new materials atom by atom, and studying physics in ways he had never imagined. At the end of the tour, they reached a massive library. The room was circular with shelves stretching up hundreds of feet. Small floating platforms carried aliens up and down to reach books and data storage devices. "The Grand Library contains knowledge from across the galaxy," Dr. Zixel said. "Much of it will be difficult for you to understand at first, but you will have access to all non-restricted sections." "What are the restricted sections?" Alex asked. "Knowledge that is considered dangerous or that species must earn the right to access," Dr. Zixel explained. "Each civilization must reach certain ethical and technological milestones before being granted full access." As they stood in the library, the tall gray alien Alex had seen earlier approached them. Up close, Professor Kelb was even more intimidating. He towered over Alex and had 4 arms that ended in long, thin fingers. "So this is the human," Professor Kelb said, his voice deep and cold. "I heard the council invited one of them. I didn't believe it until now." "Professor Kelb," Dr. Zixel said politely. "This is Dr. Alexander Kelly from Earth." "I know what planet humans come from," Kelb said dismissively. "What I don't understand is why the council thinks a member of such a young species could contribute anything of value here." Alex felt his face grow warm, but he kept his voice calm. I'm here to learn, Professor, and perhaps to offer a fresh perspective. Kelb made a sound that might have been a laugh. Fresh? Perhaps? Valuable? I doubt it. Your species still fights wars over resources and beliefs. You've barely mastered space travel in your own solar system. Every species has its own path, Alex said. We may be younger than most, but that doesn't mean we have nothing to offer. We'll see, Kelb said. Tomorrow you'll be introduced to the council and assigned to a research group. I suggest you prepare yourself for disappointment. The academy is not a place for beginners. With that, Kelb turned and walked away, his long robes swishing behind him. I apologize for his behavior, Dr. Zixel said. Not all academy members share his views. It's okay, Alex said. I know I have a lot to prove. As they walked back to his quarters, Alex thought about what lay ahead. Tomorrow he would face the council and begin his real work at the academy. He was nervous but also determined. He might be the first human here, but he was determined not to be the last. Rest well, Dr. Kelly, Dr. Zixel said when they reached his door. Tomorrow will be challenging. Alex nodded. Thank you for your help today. I'll be ready. As he prepared for sleep in his new quarters, Alex looked out at the stars once more. Somewhere out there was Earth, counting on him to represent humanity well. He wouldn't let them down. The council chamber was a large circular room with seats rising in tiers around the walls. In the center was a round platform where Alex now stood, feeling very small. 12 aliens sat in the highest tier, each representing different species. These were the council members, the leaders of the academy. Alex tried to stand tall as hundreds of eyes studied him. The chamber was packed with academy members who had come to see the first human. The air felt heavy with curiosity and skepticism. Council leader Vorn, a tall being with silvery skin and no visible mouth, spoke first. His words seemed to form directly in Alex's mind. Dr. Alexander Kelly of Earth, we welcome you to the Galactic Academy of Sciences. You are the first of your kind to join us. This is a significant moment. Thank you, Council Leader, Alex said, his voice echoing in the large space. I'm honored to be here. Another council member leaned forward. This one had features like a bird with a curved beak and bright eyes. Human, we have studied your species from afar. Your civilization is very young. What do you hope to learn here? Alex took a deep breath. I hope to learn everything I can. Earth has much catching up to do, but I also hope to contribute. Sometimes a new perspective can see things differently. A murmur went through the crowd. Alex saw Professor Kelb in the audience, shaking his stalked eyes in what looked like disagreement. Bold words, said a third council member, this one a being made of what looked like crystal. You will need to prove them. Council Leader Vorn raised a hand for silence. Dr. Kelly will join Research Group 7, working on the interdimensional energy project. Dr. Zixel will continue as his mentor. The orientation period will be 3 standard cycles. With that, the meeting was over. Alex was led from the chamber by Dr. Zixel, who seemed pleased. Research Group 7 is very prestigious, the alien said as they walked. They are working on one of our most important projects. What exactly is the interdimensional energy project? Alex asked. The Academy has been trying to develop a way to tap energy from parallel dimensions, Dr. Zixel explained. If successful, it would provide unlimited clean energy for all civilizations, but so far, all attempts have failed. They entered a large laboratory where several aliens worked at stations filled with equipment Alex didn't recognize. A small alien with 6 arms approached them. This is Trill, Dr. Zixel said. She will show you the basic systems. Trill had purple skin and large eyes that blinked sideways. Welcome, human. I have been studying your species. You are very interesting. Thank you, Alex said. I find all of you interesting too. Trill showed Alex how to use the Academy's computer systems. They were far more advanced than anything on Earth. Information appeared as 3-dimensional displays that could be manipulated by hand gestures or thoughts. This will give you access to our research, Trill said. Start with the basic principles and work forward. Even for advanced species, the concepts are difficult. Alex spent the next several days studying. The science was beyond anything he had seen before. The mathematics alone required learning new symbols and concepts. But Alex was determined. He worked late into the night, sleeping only when exhaustion forced him to. On the fifth day, Professor Kelb entered the laboratory while Alex was studying. The tall alien looked down at Alex's work and made a dismissive sound. Struggling with the basics, human? Perhaps we should provide picture books instead. Several aliens in the room laughed. Alex felt his face grow hot, but he kept his voice calm. I'm making progress, Professor. The concepts are new, but not impossible to grasp. Kelb picked up the display Alex was working on. It showed complex equations related to dimensional barriers. You think you understand this? Kelb asked. Then perhaps you'd like to share your insights at tomorrow's symposium. We gather to discuss progress on the project. All research groups attend. Alex hesitated. He wasn't ready to present anything. He had barely scratched the surface of the research. I would be happy to attend and learn, he said carefully. No, Kelb said with false politeness. If humans have valuable perspectives to offer, as you claim to the council, then surely you have something to contribute already. It was a trap, and Alex knew it, but refusing would only prove Kelb right about humans. Very well, Alex said. I'll prepare something. After Kelb left, Trill approached Alex with concern in her large eyes. That was unwise. The symposium is for presenting significant findings. You haven't had enough time to develop anything meaningful. I know, Alex sighed. But what choice do I have? I will help you, Trill said, and perhaps Dr. Zixel can advise. You as well. That night, Alex reviewed everything he had learned so far. The problem was clear. The Academy had been trying to create stable connections to parallel dimensions to draw energy, but the connections always collapsed catastrophically as Alex studied the failed attempts. He noticed something. All the approaches used the same basic assumptions about how dimensions connected. What if those assumptions were wrong? He called Dr. Zixel and explained his thoughts. It's an interesting idea, Dr. Zixel said, but challenging the fundamental theory, that's bold for someone who has just arrived. Sometimes it takes fresh eyes to see old problems differently, Alex said. On Earth, many scientific breakthroughs came from questioning basic assumptions. Dr. Zixel was quiet for a moment. Prepare your presentation. I will support you if needed. The next day, the symposium hall was filled with hundreds of scientists from all research groups. Each group presented their progress, which wasn't much. After many years, the project seemed to be at a standstill. When it was Research Group 7's turn, Professor Kelb called on Alex with a smug look. And now, our new human colleague will share Earth's advanced wisdom on interdimensional energy tapping. The crowd murmured with curiosity and amusement as Alex walked to the front. His heart pounded, but he kept his face calm. Thank you, Professor Kelb, Alex began. I am new to this research, but I have observed something that might be worth considering. Alex displayed the standard model of dimensional barriers that all the groups had been using. Then he highlighted the core assumptions. The current approach assumes dimensions are stacked like pages in a book, with energy drawn through punctures in the barriers, he explained. But what if dimensions aren't stacked at all? What if they're more like... Alex searched for a simple way to explain his idea. What if they're more like overlapping fields that are already connected at certain points? If that's true, we wouldn't need to create connections. We would just need to find the natural connection points and amplify them. The hall was silent. Then Professor Kelb laughed. That's your contribution? A complete rejection of established dimensional theory based on a few days of study? This is exactly why humans don't belong here. But one of the older council members, the crystalline being, moved forward. Explain more, human. How would we locate these natural connection points if they exist? Alex hadn't gotten that far, but he thought quickly. On Earth, we use interference patterns to detect subtle phenomena. Perhaps something similar could work here. If dimensions naturally overlap, There should be points of resonance we could detect. The crystalline council member turned to the crowd. Research Group 3 has been working on dimensional resonance detection for other purposes. Perhaps there is merit in combining approaches. Professor Kelb looked stunned. Several scientists began talking excitedly among themselves. Alex could hardly believe what was happening. His simple question about basic assumptions had opened a new line of thinking. As the symposium ended, Dr. Zixel approached Alex with what seemed like a smile, though it was hard to tell with the alien's face. That was either very brave or very foolish, Dr. Zixel said, but it certainly was interesting. You have given the Academy something new to consider, just as you promised. Alex nodded, still processing what had happened. I just asked a question. On Earth, that's how science begins. Perhaps, Dr. Zixel said, that is exactly what the Academy needs right now. In the days after the symposium, everything changed for Alex. Scientists from other research groups began to seek him out. They wanted to hear more about his ideas. Some were curious, others skeptical, but all of them wanted to talk to the human, who had questioned decades of established theory. Research Group 3, the experts on dimensional resonance, invited Alex to their laboratory. Their leader was a gaseous being named Dr. Myth, who floated in a special containment field. Your suggestion about natural connection points is intriguing, Dr. Myth said, his words appearing as text on a screen. We have detected unusual resonance patterns, but never connected them to the energy project. Alex looked at their data. The patterns showed ripples in space-time that the alien scientists had been monitoring for years. These could be exactly what I was talking about, Alex said excitedly. Have you mapped where these patterns are strongest? Yes, Dr. Myth replied. They appear in clusters throughout this sector of the galaxy, but we never thought they could be used as energy sources. Alex and the Research Group 3 scientists spent hours discussing possibilities. By the end of the day, they had outlined a new approach that combined both groups' work. Meanwhile, Professor Kelb was not happy. He complained to the council about Alex's involvement. This human has been here less than 2 weeks, Kelb argued in a meeting that Dr. Zixel told Alex about later. Now he's disrupting years of careful research with wild theories. But Council Leader Vorn had overruled him. The purpose of the Academy is to explore all possibilities. If Dr. Kelly's approach fails, we have lost nothing. If it succeeds, we gain everything. 1 month after arriving at the Academy, Alex found himself leading a small team. They included Trill, 2 scientists from Research Group 3, and even Dr. Zixel, who had requested to join the project. Together, they worked to design a device that could detect and amplify the natural connections between dimensions. The mathematics suggest it should work, Trill said as they reviewed their calculations. But no one has ever tried this approach before. That's often how breakthroughs happen, Alex replied. Someone tries what everyone else thought was impossible. The team worked day and night. They built a prototype detector that could identify the resonance patterns more precisely. When they tested it in the laboratory, it revealed something amazing. The spaces between stars were full of these natural connection points. They were everywhere, just waiting to be used. But building a device to safely tap these connections was much harder. Their first 3 attempts failed completely. The 4th exploded, though thankfully no one was hurt. Professor Kelb used each failure as evidence that Alex's approach was wrong. The human leads you down a dangerous path, he told anyone who would listen. These natural connections, if they even exist, are clearly too unstable to use. After the explosion, morale was low. The team gathered in their damaged laboratory to discuss what to do next. Maybe Professor Kelb is right, one of the scientists from Research Group 3 said. Maybe these connection points are too dangerous. No, Alex said firmly. We're missing something important. Let's go back to basics. He pulled up the data from their failed attempts and looked at it carefully. Something caught his eye. Look at this, he said. Each time we try to tap the energy, the connection point moves slightly, like it's trying to avoid us. What if these aren't just static points? What if they're dynamic, living things? The idea stunned everyone into silence. Finally, Dr. Zixel spoke. Are you suggesting these connection points are alive? Not alive exactly, Alex clarified, but not simple tears in space-time either. What if they're more like rivers? They flow and change course when blocked. This new perspective changed everything. The team redesigned their approach completely. Instead of trying to puncture the connection points, they designed a system that would float alongside them, drawing energy without disrupting the flow. 2 months after Alex's arrival at the academy, they were ready for a major test. The council approved use of the large testing chamber, a massive facility in the central hub of the station. Scientists from all research groups came to watch. The test device was small, just a metal sphere about the size of a basketball, but inside was some of the most complex technology Alex had ever seen. It contained a resonance detector, an energy, tap system, and safety protocols designed by Trill. Alex stood with his team behind a protective barrier. Professor Kelb was there too, watching with obvious skepticism. "Beginning resonance scan," Trill announced, activating the device. The sphere hummed softly as it detected nearby connection points. A holographic display showed several flowing lines of energy passing through the chamber. "Connection point identified," Trill continued. "Preparing energy tap." Everyone held their breath. This was the moment when previous attempts had failed. Initiating tap now. The sphere glowed softly. For a moment, nothing else happened. Then the display showed energy flowing from the connection point into the sphere's collection system. It worked. The sphere was collecting energy from another dimension without disrupting the natural flow. Cheers erupted from the team. Even some of the watching scientists applauded. The energy levels continued to rise steadily, exactly as their calculations had predicted. "Remarkable," Dr. Zixel said. "It's completely stable." Professor Kelb pushed his way to the front. "A minor success," he said dismissively. "But can it produce enough energy to be useful? This tiny amount would hardly power a light." "This is just a prototype," Alex explained. "It proves the concept works. A larger system could produce much more energy." Council leader Vorn approached their station. All conversation stopped as the tall, silver-skinned alien examined their work. "Explain to me, Dr. Kelly," Vorn said, his thoughts forming in Alex's mind, "how you came to see these connection points as flowing entities when hundreds of our scientists saw only static tiers." Alex thought carefully before answering. "On Earth, we have a saying, 'Nature abhors a vacuum.' Our history is full of examples where natural systems find balance through flow and movement, not through static structures. When I saw the data, it reminded me of rivers changing course when dammed. I just applied that familiar pattern to an unfamiliar problem." Vorn was silent for a moment. Then he turned to address everyone in the chamber. "This is why the Council invited a human to the Academy. Different evolutionary paths create different ways of thinking. What seems obvious to one species may be invisible to another." He turned back to Alex. "Your approach has merit, Dr. Kelly. The Council approves full development of this technology." As the crowd dispersed, Alex's team celebrated. Even Professor Kelb seemed less hostile, though he still wouldn't admit Alex was right. "We must move quickly," Dr. Zixel said. "If this works at larger scales, it will change energy production throughout the galaxy." Alex nodded, but his mind was already racing ahead to the next challenge. How would they scale up the technology? How would they distribute it to different worlds? There was still so much work to do. But for now, he allowed himself to enjoy the moment. For the first time, he truly felt like he belonged at the Academy. "You have done something important here," Trill told him quietly. "You have shown that humans have something valuable to offer." "We're just getting started," Alex replied with a smile. 6 months had passed since Alex first arrived at the Academy. In that time, everything had changed. The small test device had grown into a full-sized energy collector. It now powered a quarter of the Academy station, proving that Alex's approach worked on a large scale. Today was the official presentation day. Scientists from across the galaxy had traveled to the Academy to see the revolutionary new energy technology. The grand presentation hall was packed with beings of all shapes and sizes. Alex stood backstage with his team, feeling nervous but proud. Trill adjusted some settings on their demonstration model, while Dr. Zixel went over the presentation points one last time. "Remember," Dr. Zixel said, "many in the audience still doubt this can work. We must be clear and convincing." Alex nodded. Despite their success, skeptics remained. Some scientists couldn't accept that a human had solved a problem that had stumped the galaxy's brightest minds for decades. Council leader Vorn stepped onto the stage to begin the proceedings. His tall silver form gleamed under the lights. "Today marks a significant moment in Academy history," Vorn began, his thoughts reaching everyone in the hall. "For centuries, we have sought ways to tap the vast energy between dimensions. Today, we present a working system that does exactly that." Vorn gestured toward the side of the stage. "This breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Please welcome Dr. Alexander Kelly of Earth and his research team." Alex walked onto the stage with Trill, Dr. Zixel, and the other team members. The audience watched with curiosity. Alex saw many familiar faces, including Professor Kelb sitting in the front row. The professor's eye stalks were perfectly still, focused entirely on Alex. "Thank you, Council Leader," Alex said into the translator device that would share his words with everyone. 6 months ago, I suggested that dimensional barriers might contain natural connection points that behave like flowing rivers rather than static tiers. Today we demonstrate a system that safely taps these flows without disrupting them. Alex nodded to Trill, who activated their demonstration model. A holographic display appeared above the stage, showing the invisible dimensional flows that surrounded them all. "These energy rivers exist everywhere," Alex explained as the display showed glowing streams weaving through space. "Our system doesn't create connections. It simply harvests energy from connections that already exist naturally." The team took turns explaining different aspects of the technology. Dr. Zixel covered the mathematical principles. Trill demonstrated the safety systems. The scientists from Research Group 3 explained the resonance detection system. When they finished the technical explanation, Alex stepped forward again. "This technology can be adapted for use on planets, ships, or stations. It produces clean energy with no waste. And because it uses natural flows that replenish themselves, it is truly unlimited." The audience was silent for a moment. Then questions came from all directions. For over an hour, the team answered technical queries, addressed concerns, and explained details. Throughout it all, Professor Kelb remained silent, watching carefully. At the end of the session, Council Leader Vorn returned to the stage. "Third year, Council has reviewed all safety data and performance metrics," Vorn announced. "We officially approve this technology for galaxy-wide implementation. Research teams will be established on 100 worlds to begin the process." Applause filled the hall. Alex and his team had done it. Their work would change energy production throughout the galaxy. As the crowd began to disperse, Professor Yim Kelb approached the stage. Alex tensed, expecting another criticism or dismissal, but the tall alien's posture seemed different somehow. "Dr. Kelly," Kelb said formally, "I wish to speak with you privately." Alex glanced at Dr. Zixel, who nodded, encouragingly. "Of course, Professor." They moved to a quiet corner of the hall. For a moment, Kelb said nothing, his eye stalks moving slightly as if he was searching for words. "I was wrong about you," Kelb finally said, "and about humans." Alex was so surprised he couldn't speak. "I believed that a species as young as yours could not possibly contribute to our advanced research," Kelb continued. "I saw your different approach as naive, but I now understand it was exactly your different perspective that we needed." "Thank you, Professor," Alex said. "That means a lot coming from you." "I have been at the Academy for over 200 years, Kelb said. "In that time I have seen many brilliant minds, but I have never seen someone question basic assumptions so effectively. You saw what we could not see because we were too certain of our approach." Kelb extended one of his 4 hands. Alex recognized this as a significant gesture from a being who rarely made physical contact with others. "The Academy needs more humans," Kelb said as Alex shook his hand. Would you help us select the next candidates from your world? Later that evening, there was a celebration in the main dining hall. Scientists from all groups gathered to congratulate the team. Alex was surrounded by aliens who now treated him as an equal, not as a primitive curiosity. Council leader Vorn approached. With a small silver box. "Dr. Kelly," Vorn said, "the council has a gift for you." Alex opened the box to find a small symbol made of shimmering material. "This is the mark of innovation," Vorn explained. "Our highest honor for those who make exceptional contributions to science. You are the first human to receive it." Alex held the small symbol carefully. "I'm honored, but this wasn't just my work. It was the whole team. The others are receiving their own marks," Vorn said, "but yours is special in another way." He gestured to a small pedestal that servants were bringing forward. On it was a larger version of the same symbol. "This will be placed in the Hall of Innovators, with your name and world of origin. Future Academy members will know that a human from Earth changed our understanding of dimensional energy." As Alex looked at the symbol, he thought about everything that had happened since he received that strange blue letter in his office back on Earth. He had come so far, learned so much, and challenged his own understanding of the universe. "There is one more thing," Vorn said. "The Council has approved the creation of a new department at the Academy. The Department of Cognitive Diversity will study how different species think and approach problems. We would like you to lead it when you return from Earth." "Return from Earth?" Alex asked, confused. "Yes," Vorn nodded. "We are sending you home for 2 months to help select more human candidates for the Academy. 3 positions have been approved initially, but more may follow. Your species has much to offer." That night, Alex stood at the window of his quarters, looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, no longer quite so isolated in the vastness of space. Soon, more humans would walk the halls of the Academy, bringing their unique perspectives to the greatest scientific challenges of the galaxy. He thought about how it had all started with a simple question, a different way of seeing a problem that everyone else thought they understood. Sometimes the biggest breakthroughs didn't come from advanced technology or centuries of knowledge. Sometimes they came from simply looking at the same thing with fresh eyes. As he packed his few belongings for the journey home, Alex smiled. He couldn't wait to see the faces of his colleagues when he told them what humans had to offer the galaxy. The journey was just beginning.